Hello viewers, we are live at IDC Learning Center. Today we'll be treating a series of past questions involving governments. So please stay with me. Okay, to number one. A government performs the following functions except A. Safeguarding life and property, B. Maintaining law and order, C. Providing all the needs of its citizens, and D. Providing basic welfare need. Of course, we know the government performs all these functions except option C, which is providing all the needs of its citizens. That's what the government doesn't do for its citizens. Let us move over to number two. Number two says, the basic purpose of setting up a state is to A, maintain law and order, B, provide social facilities, C, protect foreign interests, and D, promote development. Of course, we know the basic purpose of setting up a state is to what? To maintain law and order, which is our option A. Let us move on to the next question. Number three says, a political system in which government controls every aspect of a citizen's life is A, totalitarianism, B, monarchy, C, feudalism, and D, democracy. Of course, we know our answer is option A, which is totalitarianism, which is a system in which government controls every aspect of a citizen's life. Let's move on to the next question. A political system in which states owns and controls the major means of production is known as A, feudalism, B, capitalism, C, fascism, and D, socialism. Our correct answer is our option D, socialism, when the state owns and controls the means of production and distribution. Next question. Communist governments aim at distributing goods and services according to A, need and ability, B, gender and class, C, work and residence, and D, loyalty to the party. Our correct answer is option A, need and ability. For the communist government aims at distributing goods and services according to need and ability. Let's move on to the next question. The theory of separation of power is associated with A, Jean Bodin, B, Avidice, C, Baron de Montesquieu, and D, J.J. Rousseau. The theory of separation of power, all government students, we know that our correct answer is Baron de Montesquieu, because he was one of the founders or the proponents, major proponents of this theory. Let's move on to the next question. The process of taking part in the selection of leaders in a country is political: A, socialization, B, participation, C, interaction, and D, culture. Our correct answer is B, participation. That's the process of taking part in selection of leaders in a country. Let's move on to the next question, which is number 8. Number 8 says, by comparison, a state is A, less permanent than a government, B, more challengeable than a government, C, equally permanent with a government, and D, more permanent than a government. Of course, we know a state is more permanent than a government because government may change, but the state remains. So our correct answer is D. Okay, let's move over to the next question, number 9. In modern democracies, a government is A, monopoly of the ethnic groups in the majority, B, alternation of power between the majority and minority tribes, C, a preserve of the political party in power, and D, a contract between the rulers and the ruled. In modern democracy, what is the government? Of course, we know our correct answer is D, a contract between the rulers and the ruled. Next question. Rule of law can be limited by A. Power, B. State of emergency, C. Legitimacy, and D. Checks and balances. The rule of law can be limited mainly in all these options by state of emergency. When the state of emergency is declared, of course, we know our fundamental human rights are sidelined for the particular moment. Okay, let's move over to the next question. The principle of separation of powers becomes meaningful when it is linked with the concept of A. Judicial independence, B. Checks and balances, C. Legality of the law, and D. The certainty of the law. The principle of separation of power, it becomes meaningful when it is linked with what? In all these options, we know our correct answer is what? Option B, checks and balances. When separation of power is linked with checks and balances, of course, we know it becomes meaningful. Which of the following factors does not militate against representative government in West Africa? Which of the following factors does not militate against representative government in West Africa? A. Universal adult suffrage, B. Electoral irregularities, C. Gag media, and D. Coup d'etat. Which of these does not militate against representative government in West Africa? Of course, we know universal adult suffrage, it does not militate against representative government. So it is our correct answer, the right to of adults to vote and be voted for. Those who believe in democracy and good governance are opposed to a single party system because it A. encourages weak leadership, B. encourages divisiveness, C. does not ensure national unity, and D. curtails personal liberty. Of course, we know in a single party system, it does not provide for more parties or multiple party or two party system. It's just a single party. And we know when there's a single party, it's what? It curtails personal liberty. For the wish of the party must be fulfilled against individual interests. Okay, let's move on to the next question. The fundamental law of a country refers to its A. Constitution, B. Judicial precedents, C. Conventions, and D. Acts of Parliament. Of course, we know the fundamental laws of a country. Certainly, it refers to its constitution. So, which is our option A. Let's move on to the next question. Number 15 says, a country's constitution could be derived from the following sources, except A. statutory sources, B. party manifesto, C. customary sources, and D. judicial precedents. All these options except our answer clearly is option B, party manifesto. A country's constitution, it can't be derived from a party manifesto. So it's our correct answer, option B. Let's move over to the next question. Planning and formulation of government policies are first initiated at A. cabinet meetings, B. media houses, C. political rallies, and D. open forum. Planning and formulation of government policies are first initiated at which of the following? Clearly, it is at cabinet meetings that this planning and formulation of policies are first initiated. So it's our correct answer, option A. Let's move on to the next question. Which of the following is the primary function of Parliament? A. Acting as an electoral college. B. Ratifying international treaties. C. Making of laws. And D. Impeachment of the president. The primary function of the Parliament, of course, we know what is to make laws, because the Parliament is also the legislature. Let's move on to the next question. Judicial review is a mechanism for checking A. Electoral malpractices, B. Military adventures, C. Arbitrary use of power, and D. Irresponsible journalism. Our correct answer is C. Arbitrary use of power. For when power is not used the way it should be, judicial review comes in the law. Okay? Let's move over to the next question, number 19. In a parliamentary system of government, the legislature and executive are fused to ensure A. Supremacy of the ruling party in administering the state, B. Smoothness in the administration of the state, C. The constitution is read in parliament at all times, and D. The judiciary consults parliament before ruling on cases. So what happens when the legislature and executive are fused in a parliamentary system of government is to ensure what? And our correct answer is option B. This is to ensure the smoothness in the administration of the states. Let's move over to the next question. A country with homogeneous societies and a small population is suitable for the establishment of A. A nation state, B. A federal state, C. A unitary state, and D. An autonomous state. So a country with homogeneous society and a small population is suitable for establishment of which of these states? Our correct answer is option C, a unitary state. For unitary states, only afford towards a small population, but a federal state, it can take it connotes mainly of what a larger or wider society being brought together as one. So a unitary state is our correct answer, option C. Let's move on to the next question. Number 21. Which of the following factors usually leads to the collapse of a confederal parliament? Which of the following factors usually leads to the collapse of a confederal parliament? A. Ill-equipped armed forces. B. Absence of a confederal parliament. C. Weak central government. And D. Absence of a ceremonial head of state. Of course, we know a confederal parliament is one in which the central government is weaker, so to say, than its subordinate units. So we know our correct answer will be, with that, our correct answer will be absence of a confederal parliament. Though option C looks as if it's the answer, it is not the correct answer. Option B is the correct answer. Okay, next question. In the presidential system of government, the chief executive is responsible to the A. Monarch, B. Senate, C. Judicial, and D. Electorate. So in the presidential system of government, the chief executive is responsible to who? Which of these options? Is the chief executive responsible to the A. Monarch, or is he responsible to the Senate, or is he responsible to the judicial, or is he responsible to the electorate? Of course, we know the chief executive in the presidential system of government is also known as the president, and he is responsible to the electorate who voted him to power. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Which of the following alternatives is a feature of federation? Which of the following alternatives is a feature of a federation? A. Supremacy of the Constitution. B. Unwritten Constitution. C. Right to succeed. And D. Unicameral legislature. So which of the following is a feature of a federation? Is it option A, supremacy of the Constitution, unwritten Constitution, right to secede, and unicameral legislature? Of course, we know our correct answer is option A, supremacy of the Constitution. It is one of the basic features of a federation, the supremacy of the Constitution. Let's move on to the next question. A federal government is a form of A, centralization, B, confederation, C, revolution, and D, decentralization. Of course, we know federal government is a form of decentralization where powers are shared between units. Let's move on to the next question. To preserve individual liberties, the judiciary should A, consist of honest and impartial judges, B, participate in partisan politics, and C, be prosecuted for judgment against the executive, and D, be appointed by the executive. Our correct answer is A. Clearly, the judiciary should consist of honest and impartial judges, and this will help preserve individual liberties. The next question, citizens can seek redress against injustice from the state through the A, titular executive, B, head of civil service, C, civil service commission, and D, ombudsman. Of course, we know the ombudsman is was once in operation, and it was known mainly for what? As the Public Complaints Commission. And so therefore, it will be our correct answer. Let's move over to the next question. Which of this is not a source of revenue for political parties? A, donations, B, tolls, C, dues, and D, grants. Of course, clearly our answer is option B. Tolls is not a source of revenue for political parties. That's option B is the correct answer. Let's move over to the next question. Which of these functions is performed by both political parties and pressure groups? A, interest aggregation and articulation. B, seeking to manage affairs of the state. C, provision of specialized information. And D, source of mediation in a state. So which of these functions is performed by both political parties and pressure groups? Of course, we know our correct answer is option A, interest, aggregation, and articulation. Both political parties and pressure groups, they seek the interest of their members and also articulation. Okay, let's move over to the next question. Number 29. Pressure groups seek to influence the policies of government, A, to the advantage of their members, B, so that all citizens can benefit, C, to see the manifestos of political parties, and D, to conform with electoral act. Of course, we know our correct answer is option A. Like I just said from the last question, pressure groups, they seek the interest of their members. The next question, which of the following agencies helps the most in shaping public opinion? A, colleges and universities, B, mass media, C, peer groups, and D, pressure groups. Our correct answer is mass media. For the mass media, helps in what? In shaping public opinion. They are mainly the tool for asking citizens on current issues affecting the society. Okay, next question. Public opinion can be measured through all of the following except the A, the conduct of opinion, B, imposition of laws without any debate, C, general views expressed in the mass media, and D, holding of referendum in a state. Our correct answer is option B, imposition of laws without any debate, clearly. So let's move over to the next question. On which of the following grounds can a citizen abstain from voting? A, religion, B, wealth, C, education, and D, status. A citizen can only abstain from voting on the grounds of religion. So our option A is the correct answer. Okay. An electoral system which allows party members to elect candidates for elective office is called A, general election, B, by-election, C, primary election, and D, direct election. So which of this electoral system allows only party members to elect candidates for an elective office? Of course, we know it's our what? Primary election. It's a primary election, which is our option C. Let's move over to the next question. Indirect election is best described as A. Only women electing legislators, B. The citizenry electing legislators, C. Only adults electing legislators, and D. Electoral college electing legislators. Our correct answer is clearly is D. Electoral college electing legislators. When this happens, we call it an indirect election. Let's move over to the next question. The class that controls and supervises the activities of the executive class in the civil service is, so in another form, is trying to say the highest class in the civil service. Which class controls the executive class, which is the second highest class? So the highest class in the civil service, is it A, the clerical class, B, manipulative class, C, professional class, or D, administrative class? Our correct answer is option D, the administrative class. It is the highest class in the civil service. Let's move over to the next question. The agency responsible for investigating allegation of maladministration and punishing offending career officers in the executive is the A, Public or Civil Commission, B, Ethnic Commission, C, Federal Character Commission, and D, Judicial Commission. Our correct answer is Public or Civil Commission. It is the agency responsible for investigating maladministration and punishing offending career officers in the executive. So option A is the correct answer. The next question, the anonymity of civil servants means that they should not be A, above the law of the land, B, prosecuted for any professional misconduct, C, praised or blamed publicly, or D, disciplined because of their expertise. Our correct answer is praised or blamed publicly. That is the anonymity of civil servants. They can't be praised or blamed publicly. The next question, the following were limitations imposed on traditional rulers under colonial rule, except they A, had no power to install or depose a chief, B, were no longer spiritual heads of the people, C, were not permitted to raise armed forces, and D, had no power to impose taxes. Our correct answer is option B, were no longer spiritual heads of the people. For when those colonial rule, they took all of their powers except they were the spiritual heads of the people. So our correct answer is option B. They were no longer spiritual heads of the people. But the question says except, so we need to take note of that except. The next question is a system of administration which allowed traditional rulers to rule their people under the supervision of the British officials in West Africa is A, indirect rule, B, colonialism, C, divide and rule, and D, assimilation. So which system of administration allowed traditional rulers to rule their people under the supervision of British officials? And the correct answer is the policy of assimilation, which is our option D. The correct answer, let's move over. Okay, let's take the system of administration which allowed traditional rulers to rule their people under the supervision of the British officials in West Africa is what? The system of what? A, indirect rule, B, colonialism, C, divide and rule, and D, assimilation. And our correct answer is option A, indirect rule. Let's move over to the next question. One reason for the adoption of indirect rule in British West Africa was A, to ensure justice, B, inadequate finance, C, availability of British officials, and D, to assimilate the indigents. One of the reasons for the adoption of indirect rule in British West Africa is one of the following. So which of these is one of the reasons for the adoption of indirect rule in British West Africa? And the correct answer is B, inadequate finance, for the fear that if they operated a form of direct rule, they will suffer financially. So they had to use the principle of indirect rule so as not to suffer financial loss. Let's move over to the next question. Local government is established in order to A, curb corruption in the society, B, build churches and mosques, C, promote political party, D, bring government nearer to the people. Of course, our answer is bring government nearer to the people. It's one of the primary aims why local government was established, to bring the government closer to the people. Let's move on to the next question. Which of the following policies replaced assimilation? Which of the following policies replaced assimilation? A, locality, B, indigenous, C, association, and D, indirect rule. Of course, we know the principle of association replaced the principle of assimilation. For where the people refuse to be assimilated, the principle of association was brought about. Which of the following is a reason for the failure of the assimilation policy in French West Africa? Of course, we know the principle of assimilation and association was mainly in French West Africa, while the British adopted the form of indirect rule. Okay, to our question, which of the following is a reason for the failure of the assimilation policy in French West Africa? A, bribery of the opinion leaders by the French. B, the change in name of their culture. C, the democratic policy of the French. And D, the refusal of the Africans to be culturally colonized. And which is our answer, correct answer, option D. Like I said in the last question, they refused to be assimilated, and therefore the principle of association was brought about. Okay, let's move over to the next question. Nationalism prior to the Second World War was led by A, educated elites and chiefs, B, chiefs and the elders, C, aggrieved cocoa farmers, and D, African merchants. Of course, we know our correct answer is educated elites and chiefs. They were the ones that contributed to nationalism before the Second World War. Which of the following is not a factor leading to military intervention in West African states? A, falsification of election results. B, corruption in high places. C, excessive control of public enterprises. And D, mismanagement of the country's economy. So all of these were factors leading to military intervention, except one. Which of these is not that factor? And our correct answer is option C, excessive control of public enterprises. For the government can do that, and it's not a major reason for the military to intervene in the economy. Let's move on to the next question. One of the problems of military administration in West Africa is that soldiers, A, are not trained for governance, B, are representatives of the people, C, lack discipline, and D, are not well organized. Of course, we know out of all this, one of the problems of military administration in West Africa is that soldiers are not trained for governance, which is our current answer. Let's move over to the next question. Foreign policy of a country could be influenced by A, number of schools in a country, B, personality of political leader, C, number of ministers in a country, and D, national election. So foreign policy of a country could be influenced by A, number of schools in a country. Is it our answer? B, personality of political leader. Is it our answer? Of course, option B is our correct answer. Personality, the personality of a political leader, it can influence the foreign policy of a country. But the rest of these options, they can't influence the foreign policy of a country. Let's move over to the next question. In order to promote democracy and good governance, the Commonwealth of Nations, A, prosecutes leaders who commit atrocities at the International Criminal Court. B, organizes seminars and training programs on technical assistance to members. C, sanctions members who do not pay their dues. And D, sponsors election observer teams to monitor the conduct of election. And we got our answer, which is clearly option D, sponsors the election observer teams to monitor the conduct of election. As you can see, in the last election that was conducted in Nigeria, election observer teams, they monitor the conduct of the election conducted. Let's move over to the next question. Okay, we're almost rounding up. That's good. It says, question 49, which of the following is not a problem faced by the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS? So which of this is not a problem faced by the ECOWAS? A, financial security. B, political instability. C, larger markets. And D, colonial heritage. Of course, we know the ECOWAS cannot face what? The problem of larger markets, because they have a network of different countries, and to expand their markets will not be a problem, the larger market. So that is our correct answer. Now let's move to the final question for today. The United Nations Organization, UNO, is primarily regarded as successful because A, of its control of outbreak of another world war. B, more member countries acquire more nuclear power. C, its membership continues to increase. And D, all member countries have veto power. So why was the United Nations Organization primarily regarded as successful? Of course, we know, those of us that read on the UNO will know that it's our option A. Because of its control of outbreak of another war, it helped prevented another world war happening. So it's our correct answer, option A. So thank you all for staying with me. My name remains Judicial. Please do not forget to subscribe to our platform. You get more interesting and more educative videos. Thank you for staying with me. My name remains Joshua.